Hello, welcome back to the Autonomous Biweekly Developer Sync, where we discuss all of the going-ons with or much of the going-ons with the development and engineering efforts. This week is going to be themed heavily towards Stake Wars 2, as I'm sure anybody who's following along has and participating will be glad to get some updates and hear where we are. So obviously, for anybody following along, we've had some issues kind of across the board. I've categorized them into three general areas. We had some stability issues, especially with Astral, the block explorer and staking interface. We've had some accuracy issues also within the staking interface. And then starting, I think, last Friday, we started having some operator issues as well as we've had some slashing events. So we'll dig into more detail on all of that, both in how it impacts the kind of greater ecosystem and Stake Wars 2 as a contest, and the technical kind of underpinnings of what's been happening and what we're doing to mitigate those. So with that, I'm going to pass over to Jim, who's going to give an update on ecosystem. And welcome back, Jim. I know you were gone last week, so.
Thanks, Jeremy. As Jeremy says, I was away gallivanting around Brussels, attending ECC 7, which was a great experience. Myself, Lepage, and Charlie, we met lots and lots of really interesting projects. Came away with many Telegram chats. To scope out collaborations and partnerships, which is super exciting. And I expect that as we speak, in fact, Charlie's probably working on like a blog post, and we'll be giving you some more detailed updates on what we got up to at ECC. But yeah, a very useful week in Brussels. Super vibrant feel to it there was. So yeah, Stake Wars 2. So Jeremy's taking care of, or going to be taking care of, the technical side. Obviously, from an ecosystem perspective, I want to touch on where we're going. So we clearly have some problems. We'll need some time to work out on our side what the best way forward is going to be. We in the ecosystem team will be providing updates on fixes, fairness, and restarts as they become available. So I do want to remind everyone that, of course, the Stake Wars 2, the use of your tokens, your test SSC in Stake Wars 2 will in no way impact farming rewards on the incentivized testnet. Obviously, the rewards there are based on your block and vote rewards, nothing to do with balances in wallets. Just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. And it is looking like right now, it looks like a reset of the initiative is going to be the path we'll take. And we've only had a couple of days of sporadic transactions on Stake Wars 2 so far. So there was not a lot of transaction fees being earned, not a lot of TSSC being paid for transactions. So a reset should have limited impact. The way forward, this is how we have it loosely defined. Internally, there's going to be 4 phases. So right now we're in the understanding phase. I know that that's well underway. We need to know exactly what the problems have been. Obviously, people have been slashed. We know that there's some issues with the UI and the indexes that drive the UI, the staking UI. And then fixes, so addressing the issues that we uncover during the understanding phase. Fairness, which is we're going to spend some time understanding exactly how all the different guys who have been participating have been affected and making sure that we make them whole again in preparation for the last phase, which will be a restart. So what we will do is the block that we marked last Wednesday, we will supersede that with another block. But obviously we want to spend the time to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch, which does lead me into pointing out that we've probably managed expectations a little poorly, because despite us saying, expect problems and we might have to restart and we could break everything, so far we've not had to do that. So we've got one in before mainnet. So again, this is what testnet's for. We'd much rather find these issues now rather than later. So yeah, just be aware that we did expect this to a certain extent. Finally, there are lots of little UI issues being reported. So things like alignment on the web UI. So if this is something that you're able to fix, if you're a web guru, we always really appreciate community contributions. And the contribution contest is still running. There are still prizes for the best merged PR each month. So if you you're the guys finding the issues, if you're able to fix them as well, there's prizes up for grabs if you have the time to do that for us. That's everything I've got this week, Jeremy. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you, Jim. Okay, so digging into more technical kind of aspects of what we've experienced. First, going to have kind of Mark give some what he's been working on and what we've already fixed and what we're going to be working on here in the upcoming week or so. And then Ved will go into more detail on the slashing events that we've seen. So, all right, Mark.
Sure. So with the start of the Stake War 2, we saw a lot more user using Astral, and as well, each user staying a lot more longer on Astral and querying a lot more data. This created a lot of load on our indexer endpoints, and that's why for a while, for a lot of users, they will just get errors all the time when navigating to Astral. So we optimized a lot of the code on Astral. We found a lot of inefficiency. And we optimize how the query are run on Astral to back up the data and not serve you errors when one of the query fell. So we did a lot of optimization like that. We improved a lot of the UI issue, the simple issue. One of the main issue we're having right now is the indexer that's not has not been updated to take in consideration a lot of the change that we did in the staking regarding the domain and the staking. So we're working right now at creating a custom-made indexer for staking section, and set to have one major indexer that's extremely hard to maintain, having a smaller indexer that represents each of the section of the Astral Explorer. And on another future, more short term that we're rolling out, is a way to use Astral with RPC or live data without using it for indexer data. So we're able to query all the operators from RPC, a bit like we're able to doing it on Polka.js. So we're able to serve a lot of the page on Astral, especially in the staking section, from RPC data. So then you're sure the data that you're seeing is live data. It's not impacted by bad indexing. So that's the two big feature that we're working on is a staking indexer and be able to use Astral with live data.
And to kind of add to the indexing state that we're in right now, we have an indexer that's kind of a monolithic indexer that is growing to becoming unwieldy. And you saw this on Friday, I think, when we were putting a lot of transactions into the indexer. It fell behind. It couldn't keep up. And so there was some amount of time where it had to get restarted and we had increased bandwidth. Mohammed did a great job of kind of making it once again workable. But to that original architecture, which worked fine before we had so much happening in it, we'll be switching to more of a microservices style of architecture, micro indexing, where it will be served up, different pieces will be served up independently. The first step in that will be a staking specific one, as Mark mentioned, which we hope to get, we're already moving on. So that's, while it's a longer term fix, it should be medium term in implementation. In the meantime, the RPC, hitting for live data will be the fix. So.
Yeah, I already have a PR open for the RPC if people are curious. Right now it works for operators, and I'm going to probably today work to make it work for nominators as well. So. And
that's also a reminder, if anyone's curious as to whether we're just sitting around doing nothing watching this stuff, you can always go to our repos and see that in fact we are actively addressing these. Always feel free to add an issue if you're seeing an issue. We have an Astral repo. It's open source. So, and as Jim mentioned, we're always happy to get contributions as well. All right. So moving on to probably the bigger issue, which is we are having operators getting slashed, or we were having operators getting slashed. Um, I'm going to let Ved explain kind of what's happening there and what our next steps are.
Hey everyone. Yeah, so a few of the operators got slashed over both the domains, that is EPM and auto ID as well. Like, to just go in a little bit of more technical here, on the consensus, we track two things for a given domain: the head, the tip of the domain block number, and the tip of the domain execution receipt. So execution receipt is what contains the execution state for a given domain block, where the domain block number is incremented whenever a bundle gets submitted by the operator. But at that point, we do not have any execution for that particular domain block. Now, in ideal scenarios, like what happens is an operator submits a bundle, we increment the domain block number by 1, and in the next bundle, we expect the execution receipt of the previous bundle to be included in the next bundle. So ideally, the gap between these two are essentially just 1. And when an operator is submitting a bundle, they use this execution receipt state to actually propose a new bundle. Now, in some scenarios where, like when there is a fraud proof involved, the gap could be more than 1. And when that happens, when an operator is trying to submit a bundle, they might use a stale state to actually produce a bundle. When such things happen, um, the bundle can be invalid from other operators' perspective, but not from the operator who's actually proposing it. So that's exactly what happened a few years back. So there was a gap of between the domain bundle domain number and the receipt number for both auto ID and EVM chain as well. Like EVM chain was due to a fraud proof in Gemini 3H some few months back. And auto ID has also a similar issue, but not fraud proof, but it was just an edge case that we kind of fixed, but the gap still remained the same. So because of that, operators on both these domains ended up submitting a stale bundle. So that was tagged as invalid when it's actually being executed on the operator side, and they were essentially slashed after the domain challenge period is out for that specific domain block number. We have a fix for it. We had a discussion around what's the potential solution for this. We have a path towards fixing it. It would require a runtime upgrade, of course, but we have a fix for it and we're working on it. So we'll keep you posted on that.
All right. Thank you, Ved. So timing wise, we don't know yet. We're still in the understanding phase. So while we do know the root causes of the issues we've been facing, and we do know the path forward, give us some time to figure out and some estimates on what it will look like from a timing perspective. But the team is focused, pretty much fully on this, and we hope to have everything back up and working and continue with Stake Wars 2 soon. So, anything anybody from the team wants to add before we close out this week? All right. We will see everybody. I'm sure we'll be seeing lots of activity on Discord, and see you all in 2 weeks.